So that was a fast little blues lick run, whatever you want to call it, in the style of Gary Moore. So it was done in D, and we're coming out of D minor pentatonic position 1 here. Okay, and then we're kind of moving up to 2, and then up to 3. Now with all these type of fast licks, you've got to take them slow to start off with and really get it under your finger. So we're going to break it down into 3 little sections and then talk about how we approach these sorts of licks. The problem with these licks is, and I've said this a few times in the past, you see players play it on the internet, on YouTube or whatever, super duper fast, and you'll see the tab, but they don't tell you how to achieve those speeds, you know, how to play it so it sounds good fast, and how to build up to it, which is the important thing really. It's not the lick itself really, it's the learning process that's the key to success. Right, so let's just talk about the lick and then we'll talk about the learning process. So we're starting here with a bend from the 13th fret up to the 15th fret, fair bit of distortion. So that's the first lick. So we're going bend on the 13th fret and then 10, 13, 10. Okay, with just a hammer-on pull-off. Gary Moore did lots of hammer-on pull-off type runs in pentatonic scales. And then to 13 on the B, so we've got this so far. You might notice in terms of my right hand, I'm using what's called inside picking. So I'm picking inside the E string and the B string like this, not on the outside like this. So there's a downstroke to start off with, another downstroke, and then an upstroke. So I'm caught in between the strings here. So we've got, and then we're going to pull off to here. So that's section 1 if you like. All inside picking, all in between these 2 strings. Now what you want to do is, this is the bit where we're going to learn how to play this thing fast. Firstly, you've got to just get it under your fingers, do it as slow as you need to do to get it to sound right. You know, absolutely as slow as you need to get it. Then you need to put it to a metronome. So I've got the metronome set at 70 beats a minute. Okay, so get it really smooth at 70 beats a minute, or 60 or 50 or whatever's comfortable for you. Then move up. You might move up 10 beats a minute, 20. We're going to move up 30. So we're at 100 now. To get a feel for it first. Okay, but do it lots and lots of times, you know, so those movements get ingrained and you start developing those neural pathways in your brain. Okay, so it's really important. If you practice at a fast speed and keep making mistakes, it's not going to get any better. You've got to practice at slow speeds. Right, I'm going for 130 now. There we go. So that's approaching something like the speed I did it at the start, something like that. So those movements are really, really ingrained, okay? And then once you've got that first bit, you move on to the second bit. So the second bit is this. So I'm just going 12 on the G, and then 10, 13, 10 on the B. So pick, downstroke, downstroke. Then hammer on pull off. Okay, and I could just do that to the metronome, the same as I did before. And then once you've got that smooth, you need to then think about putting those together. So this is the puzzle. Do one, get it up to speed. Do part two, get it up to speed. Put 1 and 2 together. So I'm going to lower the metronome back to 70 now, because you want to go back to that slow speed and try and put those two parts together. Okay, so now I've got parts 1 and 2 done. Okay, and then parts 1 and 2, I'd work that metronome back up to 100, back up to 130, taking little incremental leaps. So I've got parts 1 and 2 nailed. So now I've got to work on parts, well, there's only one more part actually, part 3. So I've got to work on part 3. So part 3, I'm now going up to the second position. So I'm doing this. So that's the lick. So I'm going 15 on the B, 13, 15, 13 on the E. It's in second position. Then going up to the third position, but instead of playing that note, I'm playing this note, which isn't in the pentatonic scale, but it's the second. We're in D, so it's still going to work. Adds a little bit of tension there. Okay, now this note definitely isn't in the pentatonic scale, but it's the flat 5, so it's the blues note. So I'll just do that bit really slow. And then bend it as many times as you like. As many times as your guitar sustain will allow. You're bending up a tone to here. So that part 3, the entire bit of part 3 is... Now you could do it like this. Hammer on from nowhere. So a hammer on from nowhere is just when you're hammering on literally from nowhere. You're just going straight onto it. So that kind of like reduces the amount of picking time you've got with your right hand. So again, you'd build that up slowly. You'd start at 70 beats a minute, build it up until it's up to speed. And then, so let's do the entire lick nice and slow. I say that a lot, nice and slow. I know it's what I'm teaching my students. I'm always saying nice. Well, let's do that nice and slow. Right, okay. So the entire thing would be this. Hopefully that's given you an idea on how to approach these licks, because you see people do them and you think, okay, I can see you doing it. I can understand how it's put together. You know, I can read the tab. I can play all the parts, but it sounds a bit sloppy. I can't get it together very smoothly. You've got to break it down, slow it down. You know, break it down into parts. Work each part separately, build it up on the metronome. The metronome's such a useful tool for that. And the other thing about the metronome, not only does it give you timing, but it's an indicator of your progression. Because if you can play at 70 beats per minute one day and 80 beats per minute the next day, that's progress, right? But you've got to play it well. There's no point practicing it with it a little bit sloppy, because all those little sloppy bits, you're then learning them, right? Your brain doesn't know they're sloppy. Your brain just thinks, oh, he wants to play that, so it learns that, and it will try and repeat that. So you've got to, I always think with guitar playing fast, you have to eat a bit of humble pie. You know, you have to slow down to get fast. So you have to be disciplined about it. It's all about discipline at the end of the day. So have fun with that. Please remember to subscribe.